Hi, my name is Lauren Price. I'm Director of Channel Management here at Public Interest Registry, and I'm pleased today to do this webinar for ENOM's channel of reseller partners. We are the registry for the .org domain and most recently the .ngo domain name. We were happy to participate in ICANN's new TLD program, which brought over 1,000 new extensions online. And most important, we were pleased to bring a new domain extension to the global community of NGOs who self-identify with either the .ngo domain name or the .ong domain name extension. I'd like to tell you about how we approach this community. We spent 3 years talking to the global NGO community in over 40 different countries and spoke to over 16,000 NGOs to develop this product. The market requirements that were most apparent to us in these discussions was the need for the NGO community to gain a little more help and resources in 4 distinct areas: gaining credibility online, visibility, being found online. NGOs are always in need of help with improving their fundraising capabilities, and finally connecting with others. So not only did we roll out 2 new distinct domain name extensions bundled together in NGO and .ONG, but we created what's called the OnGood suite of services, which includes the domain names, an online profile page within the portal called OnGood, and a visible global directory of NGOs worldwide. And now I'm going to pass it over to Tom Correia, Director of Product Management for Public Interest Registry.
Hi, my name's Tom Correia. I'm the Director of Product Management here at Public Interest Registry. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the product side of .ngo and .ong. So there are 5 big places where .ngo and ONG are different than .org. What we're going to talk about is the registrar and the reseller purchase flow. We're going to talk about the technical bundling requirements, the validation by Public Interest Registry, the account setup and the validation emails that go out, the reminder emails, and then premium names. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the registration process. So it's important for you to display the .ngo and ONG terms and conditions to your customers before they purchase. This way, because it's a validated, closed, or restricted top-level domain, it's important that people know what requirements they have to meet in order to register the domain. The next thing you're going to do is when the domain name is registered, you are going to present the claim URL to the customer. So when the domain name is registered, the registry will respond with a claim ID. It's important that you pass that to them. This claim URL will help the registrant go through the validation and setup process. The final thing that you want to do is once the registrant completes validation, and they are up and ready, we will notify you, and you will be able to set the name to live. The name will be off server hold, and it will move forward through the process. A couple of things about what's different in NGO and ONG. So we talked about the purchase flow and how it's important to display the eligibility requirements and the registration terms to your customers. The other thing is .ngo and .ong are a bundle. Right? This is important on our side because when we talk to customers for over the many years, we identified that some customers use .ngo, some use .ong, but they both mean the same thing. So there was fear of some brand confusion. So we decided to bundle those 2 extensions together so that when a customer registers one, they get both. It's important for them to understand that as well. When they are registering tom.ngo, automatically tom.ong will be in their account, will be registered to them. The other part that's important is validation. Because this is a restricted TLD, the entities that register .ngo and ONG have to be validated non-governmental organizations. Right? This means that when they go through the registration process, they will have to upload documentation, and Public Interest Registry will review that documentation and pass or fail as appropriate. So it's really important for you to send the claim URL to your customer, not just during the purchase flow at the completion, but also afterwards, to send them email reminders that they go through the validation process. Once they click on that link, they'll go to OnGood.NGO, then they will upload the documents and create their personalized pages. The last thing is premium names. So as of September 2015, we had set up the new EPP standard for premium names. So EPP premium names work the same they do as a lot of different registries. It's just important to understand that there are higher priced premium.NGO and ONG names out there. So we talked a little bit about the bundle and why we felt the bundle was important. So what's important for you to know is that the bundle, these two extensions share most of the same attributes at the registry level. This means that besides the DNSSEC signing, the DNSSEC key, the registrant, the contacts, the name servers, the create date, the modified date, all those things are shared across both. So if I have tom.ngo and I update the name servers, then tom.ong will also be updated at the exact same time at the registry level. So the important thing to know there is there's not a lot of uptake that you have to do. You have to make sure that when the registrant wants to make changes to their domain names, that the DNS records resolve to both domain names, to whatever the registrant chooses. The last part here is the name server behavior. So I just touched on this again. This slide is kind of repetitive. Sorry about that. Basically, this is just to let you know that, again, they share the same attributes. So when you make a change for one, a change for both occur at the registry level. They are always tied. If you delete one, both get deleted. The only place that they are not tied is because you can have two DNSSEC signed keys for these names. The last slide I'm going to cover before I turn it over to my illustrious companion, Tony, is the value-added services for NGO and ONG. It's important to know that while these names are bundled, while they both have the name server records that are the same, customers will still need two website hosting packages. They will still need two email addresses, two email servers that we want to receive email at the ONG and the NGO. So there are a lot of opportunities there. Again, if they want to have SSL certificates, they'll need two, one for each name. Unless they do a wild card, but that's neither here nor there. The content also is important for them, so they'll want to have two separate and distinct sites that really make sense. So there are a lot of value-added opportunities for you to provide to your customers for this bundle of names.
Thank you, Tom. What I'd like to do is go through some of the continued outreach we're going to do, some of the demand generation, and also some of the customer outreach we want to do over the next year or so. We've been running a series of digital advertisements. These are run on websites that are specific to the NGO community, and we've also covered 10 to 15 countries with the highest NGO potential. We'll continue to go to events. Over the last 3 years, Public Interest Registry has attended a lot of NGO events to raise awareness and to build excitement about the product. We'll carry on doing that and focus much more on demand generation at these sort of events as well. Local partners. The NGO community, it's very important to get local partners that understand that particular country. We'll leverage some of the relationships we've built over the last 3 years and develop them going forward, particularly in some of the countries where you wouldn't expect registrars or resellers to have a great presence. Once we get that momentum going, we'll invest in donor and supporter advertising. What we want to do is for our customers to actually benefit from the features of OnGood that are over and above domain names. So the directory, they need to be found. The donation functionality will advertise that donors can contribute to great causes and use it as a general place to increase support for their particular causes. And the customers themselves, we want them to use the service as much as possible, so we'll help them fill out their profile pages, but also understand their stories. We'll invest in case studies and highlighting NGOs' stories and help them communicate with their supporters and also the sort of things they need to communicate. I want to cover some of the advertising we've done. As I said, they've been on NGO-specific websites, And we've covered the countries you'd normally expect in the US and Europe, but also some of the other large countries that have a lot of NGOs there. Brazil, Colombia in South America, and also Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. A thing to note is that mobile is very important to NGOs in places such as South America and Africa, and we're heavily investing in mobile ads in those places. I'd like to show some of the early adopters on the platform. As you'd expect, NGOs such as Save the Children, PETA, and YMCA have already bought the service, but I wanted to highlight a couple of other interesting ones. The Chautauqua Watershed Conservancy look after a small lake in upstate New York. By getting .ngo, it immediately gives them a global presence and also enables them to get donations around the world. Another interesting example is the US Olympic team. People think of NGOs as promoting causes and that sort of thing, but also the sports teams, community groups can also benefit from .ngo as well. And finally, use of the OnGood directory. This is another place on the internet that NGOs can use to spread their messages and raise support. We've designed the directory so that the NGOs can be found easily, but also the profile pages highlight their .ngo domain, so that can drive traffic to their website, as well as spreading their message on the profile pages. And finally, I'd like to just run through the benefits of selling the .ngo and .ong domains. What we've found is that the initial adopters of .ngo and ONG actually buy almost 2 bundles each. That's to protect their current domain and also to get the domain they've always wanted. The unique value of .ngo and .ong creates stickiness because they have to go through the validation process. It means they're much more likely to actually need the service and need to renew the service, leading to higher renewal rates. Hosting and value-added services are key, particularly to NGOs in the Global South, where they don't have the technical skills to actually run the website. Similarly, they don't have the time or even resources to write content for the website, leading to a business development opportunity. And then finally, the public interest registry commitment to the service. We have developed .ngo and .ong with the community for the community. We've invested to create awareness and drive adoption, and we are investing to create new demand for the channel. This is just the beginning.